Are you sick of checking your bank account and feeling that jolt of fear? Are you tired of pretending to trust God while secretly rehearsing lack in your mind? Tonight, we end the lie. You were never meant to beg for supply. You were never meant to hustle for crumbs. You were designed for overflow. And as you fall asleep, I will speak it over you, line by line, law by law. Your subconscious will hear me say what your conscious mind forgot. Money is not your master. God is your source. And as you sleep, the vaults of heaven will swing open. Not someday, tonight, not after the next paycheck. Now. So lay down your fear. Release the old script. And let this be the night your wealth begins. Your money is not controlled by the world. It is not controlled by the stock market, the government, or your job title. It is controlled by law, divine law. And I say this with the full force of truth. If you are broke, blocked, or burdened, it is not because you are forgotten. It is because you are out of alignment. You are not out of luck. You are out of rhythm. And rhythm is everything, because the money that moves in your life is not reacting to your effort. It is responding to your vibration. You cannot outwork misalignment. You cannot outrun contradiction. You cannot pretend your way into provision. You must obey the law. You must speak the word. You must align with the spiritual frequencies that govern increase. I am not here to flatter you. I am not here to soothe your fear. I am here to call your soul into command. Because until you rise in identity, until you speak in rhythm, until you obey without hesitation, money will mirror your confusion instead of your covenant. You are a spiritual bank. Every word you speak is a deposit or a withdrawal. Every thought you hold is interest earned or interest lost. And the laws I will reveal to you today are not advice. They are codes that open the vault. When obeyed, they release divine supply. When ignored, they freeze it. 99% of people do not know this. They chase, they panic, they strive, and still they remain locked out. But you have been chosen to hear. You are ready to obey. You are ready to prosper, because you are ready to speak the truth and only truth. And when you do, money must answer you. Money is not evil. Money is not good. Money is not moral. It is obedient. It does not serve virtue or vice. It serves vibration, and vibration is governed by law. Just as gravity does not care who jumps, just as fire does not care who touches it, divine law does not play favorites. It fulfills itself, always. If your life is marked by financial instability, it is not a punishment. It is a report card, a mirror of the frequencies you have spoken, thought, believed, and obeyed. Money is not waiting to love you. It is waiting to be commanded by you. It is not emotional. It is not personal. It is spirit in motion, responding to the order of the one who stands in truth. And the divine mind does not release substance into confusion. It does not send overflow into contradiction. It waits, patiently, precisely, for your vibration to match divine alignment. You must understand this. Wealth is not random. It is not granted to the clever. It is not denied to the kind. It is revealed to the obedient. And obedience means rhythm, daily, exact, unapologetic alignment with divine spiritual principles. That is the only wealth plan that cannot fail. Everything else, strategies, hustle, tips, tricks, formulas, they are nothing but leaves in the wind if you are not rooted in law. Scripture says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." 3 John 1:2. This is not a suggestion. It is a spiritual blueprint. God does not desire your lack. Spirit does not honor your suffering. Poverty is not pious. Scarcity is not sacred. You are meant to prosper because you are a vessel of divine identity. And when your soul begins to prosper, through spoken word, through obedience, through substitution, through expectation, then money, opportunity, and increase begin to obey you like waves obey the moon. The 7 laws I am about to reveal are not to be analyzed. They are to be spoken, practiced, repeated, until your subconscious mind accepts them as the only truth it will allow. They are not tools, they are frequencies. And you do not dabble in frequency, you become it. These laws are your divine inheritance, but they require your mouth, your identity, your obedience. You cannot ignore them and remain free. You cannot violate them and walk in provision. You must align, not someday. Now, because the moment you obey law, money can no longer disobey you. Now we enter the rhythm of instruction, the place where theory becomes transformation. I do not teach these laws for your entertainment. I speak them into your soul so they may take root, disrupt the false pattern, and command your new condition. These first two divine laws are the foundation of financial demonstration. Without them, no abundance can remain. With them, all other forms of wealth must respond. Law number 1, the law of the word. Every word you speak creates a mold. Into that mold, divine substance is poured. If your words are shaped by fear, then the substance of your life becomes scarcity. If your words are shaped by faith, then the substance becomes supply. The spiritual world is not casual. It is exact. It listens constantly. And what it hears from your lips, it multiplies without questioning. You say, "I'm always behind." The law replies, "So it is." You sigh, "I can't afford it." The law says, "Let it be done." You joke, "I'm broke again." The law obeys, confirmed. But now you learn to reverse it. You learn to use your word as law, not as commentary. You speak with rhythm, not reaction. You say, "My voice is the vessel of increase." You declare, "Every word I speak is a financial seed." You proclaim, "I only speak what I wish to see." And with every repetition, you cancel the old mold and pour divine substance into new form. You must stop treating your mouth like a thermometer. It is not here to report appearances. It is here to create them. You must stop echoing your bank account and start rewriting it with every sentence you speak. The law of the word is the first gate to provision, and until your mouth becomes sacred, your money cannot become stable. Law number 2, the law of circulation. Money is meant to move. It is not to be gripped, hoarded, feared, or buried. It is spirit in motion, and like all divine energy, it expands when released in faith. When you circulate with joy, the law rushes to replace and multiply. When you contract in fear, the law honors your vibration and holds back your harvest. Do not mistake control for wisdom. Do not label your hoarding as being careful. When you hold money in fear, you teach the universe that you do not trust it to return. And law does not multiply in suspicion. It multiplies in flow, in rhythm, in spoken word confidence. Say this now. Every dollar I release returns to me multiplied, under grace, in perfect ways. Say, I give not to lose, but to increase. Say, I circulate as a divine steward, not a scared servant. When you release with declaration, you activate the loop. You command the return. You anchor your generosity in law. And you make your entire financial life a circulation system of divine wealth. Tithing, gifting, investing, these are not material decisions. They are spiritual transactions. And when done in the frequency of truth, they call forth exponential return. But if done in fear, guilt, or superstition, they block the flow. So I challenge you, do not give another dollar without speaking over it. Declare its return. Assign it a vibration. Make your every transaction a testimony of law. Because circulation, when done in truth, becomes the river of your increase. These first two laws, the word and the circulation, are inseparable. One commands, the other activates. One speaks, the other multiplies. Without them, you remain in effort. With them, you enter into flow. And now we go deeper. We now move into the heart of spiritual identity. These next two laws are the bridge between vibration and reality. They do not require evidence. They require assumption. They do not require struggle. They require obedience in state. For the soul that lives these laws, demonstration is not an accident. It is the natural outcome of alignment. Law number 3, the law of assumption. You must walk, speak, breathe, and expect as if your demonstration is already complete. Because in divine mind, it is. What delays the visible is not spirit, but your own refusal to step into the feeling of already done. You cannot manifest wealth while living in the vibration of waiting. You must collapse the timeline. You must assume the frequency of fulfillment. This means when you wake up, you do not say, "Someday I'll be free." You say, "I am free now." When you look at a bill, you do not say, "I hope I can pay this." You say, "My supply meets every demand on time without strain." This is not delusion. This is spiritual rehearsal. This is how you train your body, your breath, your cells to radiate the condition you command. Say, "I walk in the vibration of already done." Say, "I feel the wealth I command before it arrives." This law is not about waiting. It is about becoming. If you act poor, speak doubt, and vibrate delay, then law must keep you rehearsing the condition you have agreed to. But if you step into the energy of wealth, speak, feel, declare it as your now, then law begins rearranging substance to match your vibration. Law number 4, the law of tithing with word. Tithing is not superstition. It is not religious obligation. It is spiritual alignment. When done in fear, it is void. When done in truth, it activates flow. Tithing is not just giving. It is giving with declaration. It is sealing your circulation with word. Most give money and hope. Few give money and command return. But the one who speaks while they give is the one who commands multiplication. You do not tithe to a person. You tithe to principle. You do not tithe for favor. You tithe to acknowledge that spirit is your source. You give not because of emotion, but because of covenant. You say, "This tithe opens channels no man can block." You say, "I return 1/10, and the law returns 100-fold." You say, "As I release this, I increase my capacity to receive." You must never give in silence again. You must never treat your generosity as a gamble. Every seed you plant, you must water with your voice. You must affirm the increase, expect the return, and seal the act with divine instruction. This is the law of tithing with word. It is not just giving, it is giving with spoken faith. And the law cannot resist faith. It cannot ignore declaration. It cannot hold back return from the one who gives and speaks in rhythm. Together, the laws of assumption and tithing with word shift your entire vibration from passive to powerful. You no longer wonder when your money will come. You expect it. You no longer tithe with fear. You declare the return. You are no longer hoping. You are commanding in covenant. Now prepare yourself, because what comes next is the reprogramming of the subconscious, the final barrier between your mouth and your manifestation. The subconscious mind is your silent partner in creation. It never sleeps. It never questions. It does not judge what is good or bad, right or wrong. It simply accepts what is spoken in rhythm, what is believed in repetition, and what is felt with emotional charge. And if that inner system is not reprogrammed to expect wealth, then all your declarations, all your affirmations, all your outward attempts to manifest will collapse under the weight of internal contradiction. This is not because the law failed. It is because the agreement was never fully sealed within. We now move into the next 2 divine laws, laws that restore your inner system to match your divine identity. Law number 5, the law of agreement. You cannot say one thing and believe another. You cannot affirm wealth while making jokes about struggle. You cannot pray for provision and gossip about how broke you are. Agreement is vibration. Agreement is frequency. Agreement is sacred harmony between what you say, what you believe, and what you expect. When your inner and outer word align, you become magnetic to all that matches it. But when they clash, the signal is scrambled and the flow is blocked. You must burn your contracts with scarcity. Those silent agreements you made with lack through family patterns, cultural conditioning, casual conversation must be dissolved now. Declare, I break every agreement I've ever made with lack, even unconsciously. Declare, I sign a new contract today, one that agrees only with wealth, only with divine supply, only with my true inheritance. This is not just language, it is spiritual legal work. You are the authority over your vibration, and every word you speak is either affirming your wealth or renewing your bondage. Choose now. Align now. Speak only what you are willing to live with. The law of agreement demands that your mouth, your mind, and your mood come into covenant, not just sometimes, daily. Law number 6, the law of identity. This is the law most ignored, and yet it is the root of all demonstration. You can only receive what your identity can hold. You can only attract what your subconscious believes you are worthy of. If you still see yourself as a struggler, a hustler, a barely getting by kind of person, then the universe must mirror that. You will block the very blessings you pray for because your identity is incompatible with your request. But the moment you say, I am the channel of divine wealth, and you repeat it until the old image dissolves, everything changes. You are no longer trying to get money. You are becoming the vessel through which wealth flows. You stop chasing, you start receiving, you stop pretending, you start embodying. You must replace every old label. I'm bad with money. Gone. I always lose it. Erased. I'm not the kind of person who gets rich. Burn it. And in its place, install, I am wealth in motion. I am the gatekeeper of divine substance. I am no longer waiting. I am now aligned. Repetition reprograms. Identity reshapes. You must speak these truths aloud, daily, rhythmically, without pause, until they no longer sound like affirmations, but like your natural language. You are not here to fix your money. You are here to transform your identity into one who cannot help but attract supply. Because once identity changes, reality must follow. The law of agreement and the law of identity are the final keys to inner reprogramming. Together, they make you unstoppable. Together, they remove the resistance. Together, they create the inner temple that law cannot ignore. And now, we seal all 7 with a challenge, one that requires your full spiritual obedience. You have heard the 7 laws. You have received the rhythm. But now I ask you, will you obey it? Will you move from curiosity to command? Will you stop treating wealth like a wish and begin treating it like a covenant? Because these laws do not bend for the casual. They do not obey the hesitant. They do not reveal themselves to the passive. They demonstrate only for the spiritually disciplined. And discipline does not mean pressure. It means rhythm, obedience, repetition in the face of silence, and authority in the face of fear. Now, I reveal the 7th law, the seal, the law that governs every other law, the law that proves whether you are willing to walk in the fullness of divine wealth. Law number 7, the law of obedience. You cannot command money if you will not obey law. You cannot walk in increase if you disobey rhythm. This is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. You do not need to understand every law to be blessed by it. You simply need to obey its rhythm. Speak the word, align the identity, substitute the lie, expect the return, circulate the gift, and do it again and again and again until law becomes the language of your cells. Spiritual obedience is not emotional. It is daily. It is intentional. It is sacred repetition that reshapes your entire reality. And now I challenge you to 7 days of covenant living. For the next 7 days, you will obey all 7 laws, not randomly, not when you feel like it, but as your new rhythm, as your new vibration, as your new identity. Here is your structure. Morning command. Wake with the law of the word. Declare, my voice is the voice of wealth. I speak money into motion. Then embody the law of assumption. I live as though my supply is already released. Midday alignment. Practice the law of substitution. Any thought of lack, doubt, fear, or delay, interrupt it. Replace immediately. I am divinely provided for. There is no loss in spirit. Speak the law of identity. I am the channel, not the chaser. I am the commander, not the beggar. Evening seal. Tithe, give, circulate, but always with word. Say, this seed is blessed. It returns to me multiplied. It opens doors no man can shut. And end with the law of expectation. I expect to receive. I expect miracles. I expect confirmation before this night ends. Repeat this cycle for 7 days. Write it. Speak it. Live it. When you forget, return. When you drift, reset. The law does not punish the mistake. It rewards the rhythm. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer searching. You are no longer hoping someone will teach you the secret. You have heard the secret. It is the law. It is rhythm. It is word made manifest. And when you obey it fully, wealth becomes the natural response of a universe that always mirrors your command. You are not here to test these laws. You are here to demonstrate them. You are not hoping for evidence. You are becoming the evidence. 7 laws, 7 days, 1 vibration. And once you walk in this rhythm, money cannot help but obey you. Now speak with me. This is not recitation. This is spiritual activation. These are not phrases to remember. These are keys to unlock the vault. You do not whisper these truths. You declare them. You engrave them on the walls of your consciousness. You let the law know that you are no longer a guest in the house of wealth. You are the architect of its arrival. Say aloud, money moves when I speak. My voice is not casual. It is currency. It shapes, it shifts, it commands. Say, I tithe and multiply. I do not give from fear. I give from covenant. What I release returns to me stamped with divine increase. Say, I am already supplied. I do not ask. I assume. I do not beg. I receive. Say, I vibrate in agreement with abundance. No more contradiction. No more subtle sabotage. I speak only what I want multiplied. Say, I walk as a spiritual commander of wealth. No more victimhood. No more confusion. I am not seeking favor. I am favor in motion. And now declare the seal, the rhythm that law cannot resist. Because I obey divine law, money cannot ignore me. Say it again. Because I obey divine law, money cannot ignore me. This is your sword. This is your rhythm. This is your reprogramming. Speak it daily. Speak it before fear can finish its sentence. Speak it until the world around you bends to match the frequency of your voice. You are not trying to believe. You are installing belief. And belief, when made flesh through declaration, becomes wealth made visible through law. If this message stirred you, if it cracked open the old rhythm, if it exposed the lie you've been living, if it pulled you into the frequency of truth, then don't let it pass like just another video. This was not entertainment. This was alignment. This was your soul being handed the keys it's been crying out for. So I invite you now, not with pressure but with presence, comment below. Choose one of the 7 laws that convicted you, challenged you, or awakened you, and declare it. Write, I walk in the law of the word, or I now obey the law of agreement. Let your declaration mark your decision. When you write it, you release it into the collective current. You make it visible. You make it real. If this teaching felt like spiritual remembrance, if it felt like home, then subscribe, not to follow me, but to stay in covenant, to stay in rhythm, to continue rewiring your life through divine law. Each video here is a rhythm. Each message is a returning, a remembering, a resetting of your vibration. And return tomorrow, not because you need more information, but because repetition is your liberation. The law does not fail, only rhythm does. And now that you know the laws, now that you've been entrusted with the 7 divine frequencies that control money, your only task is to obey them in rhythm. Your money is no longer confused. Your path is no longer random. Your identity is no longer divided. You are the voice, you are the vessel, you are the rhythm. And because you obey law, money must obey you. And so it is. Every time you touch money, you speak, even if your mouth is silent. Every time you hold it, pass it, count it, spend it, receive it, your vibration issues a command. The world has lied to you and told you that money is neutral, that it is separate from spirit, that it is a tool to be used and feared in equal measure. But I tell you, money is not a dead thing. It is alive. It is a servant of law, and it listens with perfect obedience to the tone of your heart and the rhythm of your word. Most people touch money in fear. They hold it with hesitation. They count it with tension. They spend it with dread. They say, "I can't afford that," and wonder why money flees. They say, "Money doesn't come easily," and wonder why their purse is empty. They speak lack while holding supply. They declare emptiness while touching proof of the infinite. And then they ask why it does not multiply. But money does not respond to effort. It responds to energy, to blessing, to command. You must now treat every money moment as sacred. Every bill you hold, every card you swipe, every coin you find, every transaction you enter. These are not mundane acts. These are opportunities for demonstration. The moment you touch money, you are standing at a spiritual altar. And your word in that moment either multiplies or diminishes your future. Do not let another dollar pass through your hands without blessing it, without commanding it, without speaking the truth over it. I say this plainly. If you are not speaking increase over your money, you are silently permitting loss, because silence is not neutral. In the realm of law, silence is submission. When you say nothing, the world speaks for you. It inserts fear, it inserts confusion, it inserts lack. But when you speak, when you declare with rhythm and truth, then money must obey, not because of magic, but because of law. Let your new ritual begin today. Every time you touch money, no matter the amount, you will say a sentence, not just any sentence, a sacred command, one that carries divine substance, creative vibration, and spiritual finality. And when you say it, you must not speak as one who hopes. You must speak as one who knows. Because the law does not respond to begging, it responds to certainty. Let your fingers become the transmitters of blessing. Let your tongue become the rod of multiplication. Let your vibration match the truth of divine supply. You are not spending money. You are circulating it. You are not losing value. You are commanding return. You are not fearing lack. You are declaring increase. Say this when you touch money. Say it with breath. Say it with rhythm. Say it with authority. And then, watch what follows. Because when you speak to money in alignment, money becomes your servant, and the servant always obeys the master who knows their power. Money is not dirty. It is not evil. It is not carnal. That is the world's doctrine, not the law of spirit. The great deception is this, that money belongs to man, that it is created by governments, that it is earned by toil and lost by misstep. But I declare to you boldly, money is God in visible supply form. It is divine substance made manifest. It is the shadow of the real, and it is drawn to those who recognize it as sacred. There is no conflict between money and spirit, only between ignorance and truth. The same God who gives you life gives you bread. The same source that breathed you into being holds nothing back from your daily need. When you separate money from the divine, you strip it of power. But when you unite it with the law of good, you allow it to flow, to increase, to serve. The issue is never the money. It is always the mind that handles it. Do not treat money as common. Do not treat it with fear, with guilt, or with disdain. Do not say, "It's just $1." Do not say, "I hate money." Do not mock the instrument of your good. What you scorn cannot stay. What you resist cannot return. What you resent, you repel. But what you bless, you multiply. What you honor, you attract. What you speak into with truth returns with favor. Money is spiritual. It is a medium of exchange, yes, but it is also a mirror. It reflects your beliefs. It reflects your vibration. It reflects your consciousness. If you think lack, it dries up. If you feel guilt, it withholds. But if you see it as divine substance, if you speak to it as a child of the infinite, it will move toward you in increasing waves. Never again say, money is hard to come by. Instead, say, God is my instant, constant, and lavish supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. That is not poetry. That is law. And when spoken in rhythm, with belief, with feeling, it becomes form. It does not matter how much money you have now. What matters is how you speak to it. Money is like water. It flows where it is welcomed. It evaporates where it is cursed. It is drawn to peace. It is magnetized by confidence. It is repelled by resentment. You must become a sacred channel through which money moves freely. Not hoarded, not feared, not glorified, but blessed. Bless every dollar that enters your world. Bless every coin you find. Bless every payment you send. And say aloud, this money is divine substance. It cannot be depleted. It flows to me and through me under grace and multiplies as it goes. You will find that what once escaped you now lingers. What once delayed now arrives. What once hid now reveals itself. Not because the money has changed, but because you have. And as within, so without. As you speak, so it is. As you bless, so you receive. Let money become your sacred servant and speak to it as such. Whatever you bless, multiplies. This is not theory. It is not mysticism. It is spiritual law. It does not matter what the world economy says. It does not matter what your account balance says. The moment you bless something in truth, fully, lovingly, without fear, you open the floodgates of divine increase. And when it comes to money, this law works with precise obedience. The law of multiplication is embedded in all of creation. The seed multiplies. The loaves and fishes multiplied. The talents, when invested, multiplied. It is God's delight to give in abundance. But that abundance cannot enter a heart that curses its own supply. Most people hold their last dollar in fear. They say, I must hold on or I'll have none. But I say, bless that dollar. Love that dollar. Speak to it. Multiply it with your word. For $1, blessed and declared as divine substance, contains the spiritual pattern of millions. Let me give you the example of a woman who had only $2 left. The world would have said she was broke. But she held those dollars in her hand and said, this is God's money. It is spiritual substance. It cannot be depleted. I bless it and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways. Within the week, $6,000 had come to her from a channel she had not imagined. Did the words create the money? Number they released it. The money was always there, waiting for her vibration to rise to its level. You see, the money is never far. It is only out of tune with your frequency. Your word is your tuning fork. Your decree is your alignment. Your blessing is your invitation. Stop asking where the money is. Start declaring, money is here. Money is ready. Money now multiplies under grace. And speak that not as a wish, but as a truth already in motion. The loaves and fishes were not multiplied through effort. They were not multiplied through counting. They were multiplied through gratitude and declaration. Jesus looked up, gave thanks, and then broke. And it was in the breaking that the increase came. You too must look at what you have, not with fear, but with faith, not with shrinking, but with spiritual boldness. Take what you have and speak this. I bless this money. I bless its source. I bless its direction. And I now see it return to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do not wait until you have more to speak. Speak now. Speak when it is small. Speak when it looks insufficient. For the one who speaks to little is the one who governs much. The one who fears smallness will never taste overflow. but the one who sees divine pattern in every dollar touches the rhythm of multiplication. Money is not logical, it is lawful. And law listens to your voice. Law responds to your blessing. Law moves where you speak. So touch your money, even if it is $1, and say, "This money multiplies because I have blessed it in truth." And it shall be so, not by might, not by manipulation, but by the spoken word in alignment with divine law. Now I give you the sentence, not a charm, not a spell, not a phrase to recite without power. This is a divine declaration, a command to law, a vibration that aligns your voice with the invisible supply waiting to take shape. You are not saying it to beg. You are not saying it to test. You are saying it because you now understand that money obeys the spoken word. Say this aloud every time you touch money. Divine substance cannot be depleted. I bless this money and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways. Say it when you receive a payment. Say it when you pay a bill. Say it when you buy groceries, when you tip, when you transfer, when you count, when you give. Say it with the breath of certainty. Say it slowly. Say it like a king addressing his court. Say it like a priest sanctifying an offering, because that is what you are doing. You are sanctifying your substance. You are commanding multiplication. The law hears your rhythm. The universe bends to your word. You do not need to know the channel. You do not need to calculate the how. The sentence is not about logic. It is about vibration. When you say it, you shift your frequency. When you say it, you rise above fear. When you say it, you align with the divine storehouse that is always full. Let your relationship with money be purified. You no longer touch it in dread. You no longer feel shame in your body when you spend. You no longer shrink when you give. You no longer flinch when you look at your account. You speak the sentence, and the sentence governs the result. Money must multiply where it is blessed. That is law. Not because of you, but because of the source behind you. You are not the origin. You are the speaker. And the speaker who knows their power walks in plenty. So touch the dollar, touch the coins, touch the card, and say, "Divine substance cannot be depleted. I bless this money and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways." And say it as many times as needed until your body feels the truth, until your mind bows to law, until the vibration takes root, and you will see the proof. Because law, once activated by word, cannot return void. You must understand this now with fierce clarity. If money keeps fleeing you, it is not because money is unfaithful. It is because your word has pushed it away. Every idle sentence you speak against your own supply becomes a gate slammed shut in the face of abundance. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," money goes faster than it comes. "I'm always broke. This is too expensive." You are not describing a condition, you are creating one. Law does not wait to see if you are joking. It does not check your mood. It does not analyze your intent. It obeys your vibration. The subconscious hears your every declaration and moves to match your belief. You may speak these things lightly, passively, habitually, but the law receives them legally, not casually. And so your money hears, "There is never enough," and it disperses. It hears, "I'm not worthy," and it reroutes. It hears, "I always lose," and it disappears. You cannot curse your garden and expect a harvest. You cannot mock your field and expect fruit. Money is a divine instrument. It has ears. It is spiritual substance in form, and when handled with sarcasm, panic, or complaint, it withdraws. Not as punishment, but as principle. What is unblessed cannot stay. What is feared cannot flow. What is shamed cannot serve. So I ask you now, what have you been speaking over your money? What have you muttered when paying a bill? What have you whispered when looking at your account? What have you rehearsed to friends about your financial situation? Every phrase is a seed, and every seed brings forth after its kind. It is time to speak differently. It is time to bless what you once buried, to honor what you once mocked, to declare life where you once rehearsed lack. Say this when you touch your wallet, your bank app, your receipts. I do not curse my supply, I declare it sacred. Money flows to me freely now, and I speak only life over it. This is not denial, this is divine instruction. You are not ignoring reality, you are reshaping it. And the reality that forms next will be the one that obeys your most dominant word. So guard your mouth, guard your tongue. Let no false prophecy proceed from your lips. You are no longer the victim of money, you are the governor of it. And what you govern in spirit will obey you in form. Every time you pay a bill, every time you part with money, you are declaring what you believe about supply. Most people believe they are losing something when they pay. They believe they are being drained. But I tell you the truth. You are not spending money. You are circulating divine substance, and what you circulate with joy returns to you multiplied. Payment is not depletion. It is a spiritual transaction. It is proof that you trust the source of all good to refill what you have released. Never again speak fear over payment. Never again sigh when the rent is due. Never again groan when the bill arrives. These reactions are spells. They are anti-blessings. And the law, hearing your tone, responds not with increase but with echo, echoing the fear you just rehearsed. You must now handle your money as a priest handles the sacred cup, with reverence, with awareness, with spiritual rhythm. When you pay for anything, whisper this aloud, or in your heart if you must. I pay this in joy, and it returns to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not poetry. This is spiritual math. What you give in joy always returns with increase. What you release in fear delays return. What you part with in gratitude creates immediate pathways for more. Payment is proof of circulation, and circulation is the law of life. Stagnation is the illusion of loss. You were never meant to hoard, to clutch, to panic. You were meant to bless, to trust, to command flow. Say this when the bill arrives. This is not a burden. It is proof I am trusted with substance. I send it forth, and it shall return tenfold. Now your bills are no longer triggers. They are tests of trust. And when you speak truth into them, they transform from chains to channels. Your rent becomes a portal, your electricity a gateway, your tuition a divine investment. Bless your payments, bless your giving, bless your outgoing with the same power you bless your incoming, because it is all one flow, all one law, and that which you handle with joy shall return with power. Every visible blessing begins with an invisible word. There is no exception. Your riches do not begin in the bank. They do not begin in the check, the job, or the client. They begin in the sentence. They begin with what you say before they appear. Most people wait to speak abundance until they see it, but that is not law. That is reaction. Law is cause. And the cause of riches is always the spoken word in faith. I have seen it time and time again. A woman stood with nothing but belief. No money in sight, no offers, no open doors. But she spoke, day and night. I see yellow bills, I see green bills, I see pink checks with divine abundance written in my name. She saw it, she felt it, she spoke it. Before a dollar had shown its face, she was speaking the truth that preceded it. And in time, because time is never the barrier of spirit, her mailbox began to agree. Yellow bills, green bills, pink checks. The very pattern she had declared appeared in form, not because she forced it, but because she had called it. Do not wait until you have proof to speak. Speak, and the proof will follow. Do not say, I'll believe it when I see it. That is the language of delay. Say instead, I'll see it because I have spoken it. For your world is but an echo of your most dominant decree. Scripture declares, God calleth those things which be not as though they were. Romans 4:17. This is the divine pattern. not describing the seen but commanding the unseen, not waiting for riches to appear, but creating them in word and walking in that word until it becomes form. Your sentence is your spiritual mold. When you speak riches in truth, your subconscious accepts the design, and then your outer world begins to match what your inner world has already shaped. So say it before it arrives. Say it while the purse feels empty. Say it while the account looks barren. Say it not to convince yourself, but to instruct law. And law, once instructed, begins to gather the necessary substance to fulfill your decree. Say this now. I see riches surrounding me. I walk in financial peace. Every day, in every way, my supply multiplies, visible and invisible. And speak it again tomorrow, and again the next day, until your inner world accepts it as fact, until your outer world can no longer resist. Because when the word becomes law in your soul, it must become matter in your hand. Do not jest with money. Do not mock your supply. Do not make yourself the punchline of poverty and expect wealth to honor you. This is a warning not from fear, but from divine clarity. Your subconscious has no sense of humor. It records every word you speak as instruction. It does not know when you are joking. It only knows vibration, tone, energy. It hears your laughter as law. It accepts your sarcasm as command. And then it constructs your experience in kind. I remember a woman who repeatedly said, "One day I'll be living in a trunk on the side of the road." She laughed when she said it. Others laughed with her. But her subconscious was not laughing. It was taking notes. It was preparing the trunk. It was arranging the condition. And soon enough, that was exactly where she found herself, living in a trunk on the side of the road. Not because she lacked ability, not because she lacked opportunity, but because she prophesied her own downfall. You must understand, there is no such thing as a neutral word. There are only constructive words and destructive ones, words that align with truth and words that align with fear. When you joke about being broke, your subconscious removes money to match. When you mock the rich, your mind makes sure you never become one. When you laugh at your own lack, you lengthen your season of scarcity. Stop using your tongue to entertain others at the expense of your own good. Words are not toys. They are tools. They are weapons. They are sacred instruments of law. Use them with reverence. Use them with awareness. Use them to create, not to collapse. If you have spoken foolishly about your finances, cancel it now. Speak this aloud. Every idle word I have spoken about money is now neutralized, reversed, and replaced by divine truth. Then replace the curse with blessing. Replace the sarcasm with structure. Replace the joke with justice. And speak only what you are ready to see appear. Say this instead. I speak only increase. I speak only favor. I speak only divine provision. Let your words become your wealth. Let your speech become your storehouse. Let no falsehood leave your lips, because every sentence is a seed, and what you sow, you must receive. If you would see wealth appear in your outer world, you must first see it and speak it in your inner one. This is the formula of manifestation. This is the divine architecture. First, the vision, then the vibration, then the visible. All things created first appear in imagination, then are sealed in word, then formed in reality. This is the rhythm of divine demonstration, and it cannot be bypassed. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be replaced by logic, labor, or luck. You must become the architect of your wealth. You must sit in the sanctuary of your spirit and build, not with bricks, but with words. Not with budgets, but with belief. You must see your riches before the world can. You must speak your abundance before the world confirms it. The law waits for a leader, and your leadership begins with image and word. The imagination is the womb. The spoken word is the seed. The demonstration is the birth. If you try to produce without seeing and saying, you will push in vain. But if you combine clear vision with sacred speech, the law will deliver. Let this become your daily ritual. Close your eyes and see your wealth. Not in fantasy, not in craving, but in truth. See the bills stacked in your drawer. See the payments complete. See the accounts overflowing. See the joy of giving. See the freedom of having. Do not wonder how. That is not your task. Your task is to form the blueprint, and the law will build it. Then speak what you see. Declare it aloud, even if your surroundings contradict it, even if the bank account mocks it, even if the world calls you delusional. Say it anyway, because what you speak in alignment must become form. Say, I see my wealth. I feel my abundance. I declare my supply. What I speak must now appear under grace and in perfect timing. And walk as one who has already received. Stop begging. Stop pleading. Start agreeing. Let your body move in rhythm with your decree. Stand tall. Speak clearly. Act with peace. Give with joy. Receive with gratitude. These are not performance, they are spiritual alignment. Your demonstration does not come by waiting. It comes by building. And building happens in silence, in speech, in the unseen. Then suddenly it appears, and the world calls it luck. But you know, it is law. So combine vision with vibration, combine image with declaration, and what you build inside will soon stand before you outside. Because when spirit hears both your sight and your sound, it delivers in full. There is a sacred window the world has forgotten, the moment before sleep and the moment of waking. These are the gates of the subconscious. These are the moments when your mind is most fertile, most receptive, most impressionable. And what you speak during these gates does not vanish. It roots itself deep in the soil of your being and governs what follows. So I say to you, bless your money at night and bless it in the morning, not as routine, not as superstition, but as law. Law works by repetition. Law responds to rhythm. You would not water a plant once and expect it to bloom. So do not speak your prosperity once and expect it to multiply. Speak it daily. Speak it at the doorposts of your day. Before you close your eyes at night, speak this sentence aloud. Let it be the last vibration your body remembers. I now draw from the abundance within and see wealth without. Every dollar I touch returns to me blessed and multiplied. Let this sentence travel with you into sleep. Let it echo through your subconscious chambers. Let your dream state be governed by truth, not fear. While you sleep, the seed will be watered. While you sleep, the subconscious will rearrange. While you sleep, spirit will move unseen channels into place. Then, when morning comes, do not touch your phone, your email, your news, until you have spoken the law again. Greet your supply. Greet the invisible abundance that now rushes toward you. Speak the sentence again with fresh breath and fresh expectation. I now draw from the abundance within and see wealth without. Every dollar I touch returns to me blessed and multiplied. Touch your wallet. Touch your purse. Touch your phone if it carries your digital accounts, and bless them, not out of duty, but out of dominion. Let them become symbols of spiritual obedience. Let them remind you that every object connected to your finances must now obey your vibration. Night and morning, the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega of your day. Let truth govern them both, and the middle shall fall in line. This is the double blessing. This is the daily rhythm of the spiritually prosperous, not occasional, not reactive, but rhythmic, bold, and faithful. What you speak in darkness appears in light. What you declare at rest shows up in motion. What you bless at sunrise returns by sundown. And so it is. There is one barrier more dangerous than doubt, more stubborn than fear, more hidden than lack. It is guilt. Guilt about wealth, guilt about wanting more, guilt about receiving while others lack. This is the invisible thief of abundance. For even when the law is spoken and the word is right, guilt in the heart will reject what the voice has commanded. You must cleanse yourself of every false belief that says you are unworthy of riches, that wanting money is selfish, that having more is wrong. These are not spiritual ideas. They are human interpretations of fear, wrapped in morality and shame. But the truth is this: your wealth serves God when you receive it in righteousness. The law is not offended by your overflow. The Spirit is not jealous of your storehouse. The infinite is not limited by your portion. There is no scarcity in divine mind. When you receive, you do not take from others. You simply align faster. You become an example of law in action, a testimony that truth does not fail. I have said before, and I say it again, nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. Nothing is too good to last. These words must replace the guilt in your gut. These truths must override the inherited shame of generations. If you feel guilt when receiving, speak this: it is right for me to prosper. I use money in love, and money flows to me in peace. And if the voice of shame whispers, "Who are you to have more?" answer with law: I am a child of the Most High. I inherit all good. I release guilt and walk in grace. You cannot speak multiplication while holding on to guilt. You cannot bless your money and then hate yourself for having it. These are contradictions that collapse demonstration. But when you release guilt, you release restriction. When you accept that your wealth blesses others, you open wider channels. Say it with me now: my wealth is a blessing to all. I release guilt. I walk in truth. I receive with ease, and I give with joy. Let this become your new truth. Let it soak into your bones. Let it echo louder than the old voices. You are not here to struggle. You are not here to shrink. You are here to demonstrate what is possible when guilt dies and law reigns. And from this new place, abundance comes freely. The law never fails. It is not partial. It is not delayed by distance, by economy, or by opinion. It does not consider how long you've struggled or how many times you've cried. It responds to the spoken word of truth, declared in rhythm, backed by faith, and sealed with silence. When you speak rightly and do not contradict your word, the law goes to work. I once knew a woman in great need. She was out of work. Rent was due. Fear swirled around her like a storm. But she had learned the law, and she did not beg. She did not panic. She closed her eyes, touched her empty wallet, and spoke this sentence aloud: God is my immediate and inexhaustible supply. Unexpected channels open to me now. She said it once, and again, and again. Not frantically, but faithfully. Then she went about her day. Hours later, she walked past a bush and felt drawn to look beneath it. There, tucked under leaves, was an envelope with her name on it. Inside, the exact amount she needed, enough to pay her rent in full and buy food for the week. Some would call that coincidence. I call it demonstration. Because this same rhythm has happened to thousands. The moment they stop begging and start declaring, the law begins to shape new channels. The moment they stop rehearsing fear and start speaking supply, the invisible becomes visible. You may say, but that hasn't happened for me. Then I ask you, have you spoken in faith or in fear? Have you declared with authority or have you hoped with doubt? The law hears certainty, not emotion, not noise, certainty. Speak now. The law never fails. I declare my supply, and it must appear under grace and in perfect ways. Let this become your daily conviction. Do not wonder how. Do not watch the clock. Simply speak and walk and trust. Because when the word is spoken in rhythm with truth, the form must follow. The law never forgets your decree. It never misplaces your request. It always fulfills your spoken pattern. So pattern your words in faith, and the results will be undeniable. There is no chaos in spirit. There is no confusion in divine mind. Only man disorganizes what God has already made whole. If your finances feel tangled, heavy, delayed, or unclear, it is not because God has withheld your good. It is because your vibration has not yet aligned with divine order. You have spoken inconsistently. You have feared while paying. You have blessed in one breath and complained in the next. And law, which must reflect your rhythm, has mirrored your disorder. But the moment you bring your words, your feelings, and your decisions into harmony, you activate divine order in your finances. Order is not about budgeting. It is not about paperwork. It is not about being perfect. It is about spiritual alignment. It is about inner clarity that manifests as outer peace. And divine order begins with your decree. Speak this daily. Every dollar in my world is aligned, assigned, and multiplying under grace. Let that be the spiritual architecture of your money, aligned with truth, assigned to good, and multiplying with ease. No more rogue spending driven by fear. No more hiding from bills. No more disowning your wealth. You are the governor of your financial reality, and governors do not guess, they command. This is your spiritual instruction. Tithe in faith, not in fear. Give with joy, not with guilt. Save in wisdom, not in worry. Spend in peace, not in panic. Let every action with money be a testimony of trust. Money is not your master, it is your tool. It is the servant of your spoken decree. So use it with reverence, use it with rhythm, and speak into every financial decision this law. I do not manage money by might. I govern it by divine order, and what is governed by law cannot fail. Let your inner world reflect the peace of knowing your supply is steady, your seed is blessed, and your return is multiplying even now. When order reigns inside, chaos must bow outside. You are not becoming prosperous. You are now aligned with the truth that you already are. Walk in that knowing, act in that rhythm, and watch your money rise to meet the vibration of your word. Now you know, and once you know, you cannot return to the old vibration. You cannot unknow law, you cannot unspeak truth. The power has always been yours, but now it is conscious, now it is awakened. And I charge you, child of God, not to walk forward in fear, but to walk forward in financial dominion. You are not waiting for money. Money is waiting for you, waiting for your voice, waiting for your consistency, waiting for your blessing. You have been given the keys to increase, the sentence of multiplication, the law of spoken truth, the act of sacred circulation, the rhythm of night and morning declaration. These are not theories. These are not ideas. They are tools of demonstration. Use them. Touch your money and speak. Pay your bills and bless. See lack and declare abundance. Feel doubt and override it with rhythm. Let no financial moment pass without awareness. Let no coin slip through your fingers without praise. Let no transaction escape your vibration. And now, for your final charge, say this aloud with boldness. Money now comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. I walk in plenty. I speak in plenty. I live in the law of increase. My supply is sure. My word is law, and my wealth is unfolding even now. Again. My supply is sure. My word is law, and my wealth is unfolding even now. Say it until the rhythm writes itself into your body, until the mind submits, until the outer world must obey. You are not beneath money. You are not afraid of it. You are not confused by it. You now handle it as a priest handles the sacred, with truth, with power, with joy. Speak this every time you touch money, and watch what follows. Because spirit is listening, law is moving, and your word, once spoken in faith, cannot return void. And so it is. You do not need more time. You do not need to wait another year, another season, another lesson, another sign. You do not need more money, more degrees, or more effort. What you need, what you have always needed, is a word, a single, aligned, spiritually charged sentence. spoken with divine conviction. One sentence that does not beg or explain or hope, but commands. One sentence that rewires the vibration of your entire life and calls forth what was already prepared for you in the invisible. One sentence that shifts your inner world so completely that the outer must bow in 24 hours. The world will tell you change takes time, that you must crawl toward healing, that progress is measured in years. But I tell you by spiritual law, transformation is not on a calendar. It is on a word. The moment you speak with faith, the moment you declare your divine identity, the moment you cancel the old rhythm and replace it with truth, law moves. Spirit begins rearranging. The demonstration starts, not in a week, not in a year, but now. And what has tarried will appear, because the word has gone forth, and it shall not return void. The opening of creation was not a plan. It was not a process. It was not a strategy. It was a sentence. Let there be light, and there was light. No debate, no delay, no discussion, just a holy sentence, charged with creative power, spoken into the void. And that same law is yours. That same breath has been given to you. That same authority waits on your command. You were never meant to wander. You were meant to speak. You have tried everything else. You've journaled. You've waited. You've worked. You've worried. But you have not yet spoken this one sentence. The sentence that cancels delay. The sentence that breaks the spell. The sentence that reroutes time, reclaims direction, and returns you to the rhythm of God's perfect plan. And I say to you with sacred urgency, until you speak the word, nothing moves. But once you do, everything shifts. Not in concept, but in form. Not in theory, but in substance. Spirit is not moved by emotion. Spirit is not moved by longing. Spirit is moved by truth, declared with faith, spoken with boldness, released without fear. So stay close. Because before this message ends, you will have that sentence. You will know how to speak it, when to speak it, and what to expect when you do. This is not a suggestion. This is not a philosophy. This is law. And when the law is activated by your word, your life begins again, within 24 hours. Let us begin. Most people do not live lives. They live loops. Spirals of waiting, patterns of delay. They walk the same circle of lack and call it reality. They touch the edge of breakthrough, only to fall back into fear. Not because they are weak, not because they are cursed, but because they have never been taught to speak. They react, they wish, they analyze, but they do not decree. And without a decree, the law remains inactive. Without the word, the demonstration remains unborn. Without a sentence, your good stays sealed in the invisible. I have seen lives frozen in time, not by external enemies, but by internal silence. Not by lack of opportunity, but by lack of spiritual command. These are people with vision, with ideas, with heart, but no rhythm in their word, no command in their mouth, no sacred sentence upon which the law can operate. So they drift, they repeat. They become spiritual bystanders in a world that was meant to be spoken into shape. Let me be clear. Spirit will never override your silence. God will never impose order where your word has not invited it. The law is perfect, but it is not forceful. It waits on your participation. It waits on your vibration. It waits on your voice. Until then, your reality defaults to the patterns of fear, culture, memory, and inherited limitation. Not because that is truth, but because that is the only rhythm available. Imagine a ship out at sea, engine running, sails raised, but no direction given, no port declared, no coordinates set. That ship is not broken. It is simply leaderless. And most lives are lived exactly like this, drifting, not by accident, but by absence of speech. You are not meant to drift. You are meant to direct. You are not meant to guess. You are meant to govern. But to govern, you must speak. You must say aloud, daily, faithfully, rhythmically, the words that tell the universe where to go. You must give spirit something to work with, a blueprint, a command, a sentence that slices through confusion and establishes truth. Until you speak with authority, your life cannot rise in power. Until you declare the law, your timeline cannot reorder. Until you give voice to divine instruction, heaven cannot deliver what is already yours. You are not waiting on spirit. Spirit is waiting on you. So I ask you, what have you spoken today? What sentence has governed your last 24 hours? Have you declared your direction, or have you merely described your delays? Have you prophesied, or have you complained? Have you activated law, or have you surrendered to appearance? If you are stuck, the answer is not more trying. The answer is not more thinking. The answer is a sentence, and once spoken, the drift ends. The turnaround begins, and the law, which never fails, begins its holy work. Every delay, every derailment, every so-called detour has one thing in common: it was never greater than the law. The law is not concerned with how far you've gone in the wrong direction. It is only concerned with the moment you speak the right word. Because the law of the turnaround does not operate on logic. It operates on alignment. The very second you align your vibration with divine truth, the turnaround begins. The law doesn't require explanation. It doesn't ask how long you've been stuck. It responds instantly to the command of faith. There are those who believe change must be gradual, that transformation must follow a long path of repentance or restitution. But spiritual law does not need time. It needs permission, and permission is given through the word. The moment you say, "I am now aligned with divine good," the law does not hesitate. It moves, it corrects, it reroutes. It makes all things new, not someday, but now. Let me tell you a true story. A woman came to me in despair. Her finances were gone, her relationships in ruins. She said, "I've tried everything." But I told her she had not yet spoken everything. I gave her one sentence, a sentence anchored in law, a sentence spoken not in panic but in rhythm. She spoke it aloud, 3 times in the morning, 3 at night. She did not beg, she did not explain, she declared. And within 24 hours, she received a phone call that reversed her situation entirely. A debt was forgiven, a check released, a new opportunity delivered. And she asked, how could it happen so fast? Because the law does not move by speed. It moves by alignment. The moment she aligned with truth, without fear, without doubt, without contradiction, the law of the turnaround activated. Not because she earned it, not because she fixed everything, but because she finally spoke the language of heaven. This law is ancient, it is spiritual, it is biblical, and it is available to you now. In Isaiah 30:21, it is written, "And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it." That word is not just from heaven, it must also come from your own mouth. You must say, "This is the way," and begin walking by the sound of your own divine command. So hear me clearly. Your turnaround is one sentence away. Not because the sentence is magical, but because it carries the vibration of truth. It activates law. It ends confusion. It realigns your life with what was already written. The law of the turnaround does not delay. It does not need process. It needs a word. And once the word is spoken, what once took years now takes hours. Because the moment your vibration shifts, everything else must obey. Now I give you the sentence. This is not poetry. This is not positive thinking. This is not a motivational phrase. This is spiritual technology, a divine key. When spoken in faith, without apology, it overrides fear, cancels delay, breaks the rhythm of resistance, and activates your demonstration within 24 hours. The sentence is short, but the law it activates is eternal. Say it slowly. Say it with reverence. Say it aloud. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Again. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. This sentence carries 3 laws in one breath. First, the law of assumption. I now step into, you are no longer hoping, trying, chasing, waiting. You are stepping into. You are moving in faith. You are entering what already exists. Heaven responds to movement, not hesitation. Second, the law of divine timing. The life that has already been prepared for me. This is not a life you build. This is a life that has already been constructed in the Spirit. Every desire, every vision, every divine idea was placed in your heart because it already exists in the invisible. You are not creating it, you are claiming it. Third, the law of accelerated demonstration. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. You are not demanding. You are not controlling. You are commanding in rhythm with divine order. 24 hours is not a test. It is an affirmation that law is instantaneous when fully aligned. The visible may shift immediately or begin its movement the moment you speak, but the spiritual turnaround is always now. Let me give you its scriptural root. Isaiah 65:24. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. This means heaven does not wait to respond. It responds in advance to the vibration of aligned speech. Before you even finish the sentence, Spirit has already begun. And when you speak this sentence, speak it not from fear, not from pressure, but from authority. Speak it not as a question, but as law, because it is law, a law that never fails, a law that governs supply, direction, healing, success, a law that cannot delay when spoken by one who knows they are backed by divine right. Say it again, boldly, with power. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. This is your sentence. It is your key. And once spoken in faith, the gate swings open. Because the law, once activated, moves faster than thought and deeper than fear, and it will not return void. Here it is. The sentence most people never speak. The sentence most souls hunger for but never dare to declare. The sentence that cuts through confusion, erases wasted years, silences fear, and overrides every false rhythm you've inherited from the world. It is not complicated. It is not hidden. It is not reserved for the spiritual elite. It is a key, and I now place it in your hands. But you must use it. You must speak it. Not softly, not questioningly, but with command, conviction, and rhythm. Here is the sentence. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Say it aloud. Let the syllables pass your lips like lightning. Let the vibration move through your body. Let heaven hear you with clarity. Again. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Why does this sentence work? Because it speaks to 3 laws in one rhythm. The first is the law of assumption. You are no longer waiting, wishing, or wandering. You are stepping in. You do not ask if it is possible. You step in as though it already is, because in spirit it is. In the invisible, the door is already open. The life already exists. It is not coming. It is waiting. And when you step, it rushes forward to meet you. The second law is the law of divine timing. The life that has already been prepared for me. It is not being built. It is done, complete, finished. The moment you desired it, heaven designed it. The vision was not random. It was recognition. You saw what was already yours, and now you speak it into form. God does not make you guess. He prepares and positions, and your word gives you access. And the third law, the one that shakes the illusion of delay, is the law of accelerated demonstration. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Not because you're rushing, not because you're demanding, but because law does not need time. It needs alignment. And 24 hours is not a test of God. It is a test of your willingness to speak as one who knows. Your world can rewire in an hour, in a breath, in a blink, when the word is true. Scripture confirms it. Isaiah 65:24. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Before the sentence is finished, heaven has heard it. Spirit does not lag. Law does not stall. Law acts the moment your vibration aligns with its design. So say it now. Say it with power. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. You are not hoping. You are not begging. You are commanding. This is not a fantasy. It is your divine right. Spirit has waited for this moment. The unseen has waited for your word. Now speak it. Often, faithfully, rhythmically, and prepare to see a rearrangement so swift it will humble your mind and glorify your God. Because once the sentence is spoken, the law begins. A sentence is not a spell. It is not something you whisper one time and hope the universe hears you. It is a command, and a command must be given with rhythm, with reverence, and with repetition. You are not casting wishes into the air. You are constructing reality with the substance of sound. You must speak the sentence as one who rules, not one who pleads, as one who knows, not one who doubts. Your tone matters. Your posture matters. Your expectation matters, because spirit responds not to words alone, but to the vibration behind them. When should you speak it? Speak it first thing in the morning, before the world can argue with your truth. Speak it again at midday, when momentum threatens to fade. Speak it once more before sleep, when the veil between seen and unseen thins. And speak it in moments of action. Before you send the message, make the decision, step into the room. Let it be your spiritual password, your energetic permission slip, your internal ignition. Let every act of your day be preceded by the decree. And how should you say it? Not fast, not flat. Say it with rhythm, with breath, with pause, with power. Imagine you are standing before the gates of your own kingdom, and your voice is the key. Imagine your future is already standing behind the curtain, waiting on a single word to be summoned. Then speak. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Let every syllable carry command. Let no part of you contradict it. Do not rush it. Do not analyze it. Speak it as law. Say it until it imprints your cells, until your nervous system no longer reacts to appearances, but to truth. Say it until the voice of doubt dissolves. Say it until your environment changes. Because it will. It must. The law cannot return void. And what must you not do? Do not speak it once, and then speak fear the rest of the day. Do not declare it in the morning and cancel it with complaint by noon. Do not plant this seed and then dig it up with worry. Guard your mouth like a temple. Let nothing come from your lips that weakens your word. Remember, the sentence is not magic. It is law. It works not because you are worthy, but because it is aligned. It works not because you try hard, but because you speak truth. And truth, when spoken boldly, reorders everything in your favor. So speak it again, now. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. This is how you move mountains. This is how you shift timelines. This is how you become the governor of your own demonstration. Not through hoping, not through waiting, but through the bold, faithful rhythm of your word. And the moment you speak like this consistently, the universe responds. Not in confusion, but in perfect, ordered manifestation. Many ask, is it really possible? Can one sentence change my life in 24 hours? And I answer with holy certainty, yes, if it is spoken in the vibration of divine law. Because spiritual transformation is not gradual, it is not a slow burn. It is instantaneous in the unseen and visible in the seen as fast as your belief will permit it. There is no time in spirit. What you think takes months in matter takes only moments in truth. The speed is not about the sentence. It is about the certainty. Let me explain what I call the spiritual physics of manifestation. Spirit is substance, word is vibration, and vibration is the pattern that matter must obey. When you speak from spiritual alignment, your words send a command into the invisible, a pattern that pulls every particle of reality into new form. This is not mysticism. It is law. Law is perfect. Law is exact. Law is obedient. Jesus spoke in Matthew 8:13, "As thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee." And his servant was healed in the same hour. Not tomorrow, not next week, the same hour. Why? Because the belief matched the word and the word activated law. This is what most miss. They speak the right phrase but in the wrong rhythm. They mouth the truth but think in fear. They repeat words without embodiment. But the moment you truly believe and speak as one who governs, the healing comes. The supply appears. The shift begins. You do not need 40 days. You do not need more suffering. You do not need to beg God to do what has already been done. You need only to speak as one who already possesses. Because you do. What you seek is not far off. It is here, hovering, surrounding you in the invisible, waiting to take form the moment you give it structure through your sentence. Think of your words as architectural blueprints. Your sentence is the design. Spirit is the builder. The moment the design is clear and aligned, the building begins. And I tell you this, God builds fast. There is no backlog in heaven, no delay in divine supply. The only delay is your own hesitation to speak. And why 24 hours? Not as a deadline, not as a test, but as a sacred rhythm of expectation. One full cycle of surrender. One rotation of the sun to practice unwavering command. One container in which your word must live, breathe, and grow. If you can hold your declaration for 24 hours without contradicting it, doubting it, or weakening it, you will see the first evidence of change. A shift in the air, a sign in your inbox, a message, a release, a movement, because the law responds instantly to spiritual integrity. Say this now. Time does not delay me. Spirit does not stall. What I speak in truth appears in form within 24 hours by divine law. And so it is. Your mind is not your master, it is your servant. And yet, for most people, the servant has become the king. Thoughts of fear, regret, and repetition run wild because the mind has never been trained by the word. But today, the pattern breaks. Today, you begin to reprogram the rhythm of your entire mental atmosphere with a single sentence spoken with divine authority. You do not need to wrestle with every thought. You do not need to fix every memory. You need only to plant one new seed so strong, so rhythmic, so filled with spiritual voltage that it overrides everything that came before it. That seed is this sentence. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. The moment this becomes your mental baseline, your subconscious must shift. Your nervous system must obey. Your energy must match. This sentence does not just declare what is coming, it replaces what was. It clears the fog of old timelines, cancels the emotional residue of delay, and tells your entire being, we no longer live in fear, we live in law. Now hear me. Most minds are trained by trauma, by culture, by logic, by memory. Yours must be trained by truth. And truth is not passive. It is spoken. It is repetitive. It is rhythmic. Speak the sentence as a mantra, as a melody, as a metronome. Every time an old thought rises, replace it. Every time fear flares, override it. Every time you feel behind, declare you've just arrived. The mind does not argue with conviction. It bows to rhythm. It bends to repetition. Here is how you reprogram. Before sleep, speak the sentence aloud. Let it be the last vibration your body hears. Upon waking, speak it again. Let it go ahead of you into the day. In moments of doubt, speak it slowly, 3 times, breathing with each word. Write it. Repeat it. Sing it if you must. But never let it die in silence. You are not merely convincing yourself. You are constructing a new mental track, a spiritual groove, and once it is deep enough, it becomes automatic. The old beliefs cannot survive in the presence of spoken law. The new sentence becomes your internal software, and once the system changes, your experience must follow. Say it now, not as a lesson, but as a reprogramming tool. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Do you feel the shift? That is not imagination. That is reality responding. Because the mind, once dominated by the word, becomes the womb of your demonstration. You are not your past thoughts. You are not your old programming. You are the speaker of truth, and today your inner world begins again. And so it is. The universe does not respond to your need, it responds to your word. Divine law does not act on confusion, it acts on clarity. Heaven does not move when you panic, it moves when you command. And the moment you speak your word as law, as settled, as unquestionable truth, the entire architecture of the unseen begins to shift. The particles rearrange, the doors unlock, the paths clear, because the voice of spiritual authority has been heard. Now hear me clearly. The command that makes the universe move is not loud, it is not desperate, it is aligned. It is the sound of someone who knows, not someone who begs, not someone who waits, not someone who wonders if it's too late, but someone who understands the covenant they walk in, the law that backs them, and the power of the sentence they speak. So I give you a sacred challenge, not for entertainment, not for curiosity, but for divine demonstration. For the next 3 days, yes, 3 days, speak this sentence 4 times daily. Once upon waking, once at midday, once before sunset, once at midnight. Each time, speak as a commander speaks to the sea. Speak as one who parts clouds with a breath. Speak as one who has nothing to prove, but everything to claim. Here is the sentence, and this time you will say it as law. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Do not change the wording. Do not add your fear to it. Do not ask how. The law does not require how. The law requires alignment. And what will happen? You will feel resistance rise. You will feel the mind question. But stay faithful to the rhythm. Because the moment you pass through the veil of doubt, a shift will begin. You will notice synchronicities. You will receive a message. You will sense peace. You will feel the weight of delay lift. And then, within 24 hours, a sign, a blessing, a movement will appear. Why? Because you spoke it, you commanded it, you anchored it, and law cannot return void. Say this now as your first command of the day. I command my life into divine order. I speak with authority. I expect the demonstration now. This is not about ego. This is not about magic. This is about spiritual maturity. You are not here to hope. You are here to govern. You are not here to suffer. You are here to speak. The universe does not favor the strong. It favors the speaker of aligned truth. So speak. Speak often. Speak with fire. And know that each time you do, the invisible bends, the path unfolds, the supply moves, because you finally took your place as one who governs through the word. And so it is. Now we seal the word in rhythm. We do not reason. We do not analyze. we affirm. These declarations are not decorations. They are spiritual charges, lightning bolts sent into the unseen. Each one is a strike against delay. Each one is a vibration that rearranges your timeline. Do not whisper them, declare them. Let every syllable become law as it leaves your mouth. Speak these aloud with breath, with boldness, with rhythm. I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. I am not late, I am aligned. My supply is present and rushing into form. The old is gone, the demonstration begins. Spirit moves at the speed of my faith. I am not waiting, I am receiving. I command with love, and law responds in power. Again, I step in. It is prepared. It appears now. You are not speaking to convince anyone. You are speaking to activate the blueprint. You are not asking for help. You are triggering law. These words are not tools. They are templates. Spoken into the atmosphere, they build the form that your demonstration will follow. Now speak this closing seal. Say it slowly. Say it 3 times. Say it with everything in you. I speak, I align, I receive. I speak, I align, I receive. I speak, I align, I receive. Let this rhythm be your reality. Let this sentence be your new foundation. And remember, each time you speak, something is sent, something is stirred, something is summoned. And so it is. Now that you have spoken, keep speaking. Now that you have remembered, stay in rhythm. You have not reached the end of a video. You have crossed into a new way of being. You have received a sentence, not just to recite, but to live by. And if you truly walk in it, if you speak it with dominion, you will begin to see signs, evidence, shifts, surprises, all within 24 hours, not because you forced them, but because you finally aligned. I invite you now, not to perform, not to prove, but to declare. Write the sentence in the comments, not for engagement, not for show, but as an act of spiritual activation. Let your sentence echo into the digital field, and let your comment become your contract with divine law. Type, I now step into the life that has already been prepared for me. It appears within 24 hours by divine law. Come back to it later. Witness the alignment. Witness the comments that shift your faith. Return tomorrow and testify. Your word is not just an idea. It is a spiritual agreement. Subscribe, not for more content, but to remain in the current. Let this channel be your reminder. Let this voice anchor you when you drift. Let this rhythm reset you when the world distracts you. You are not a seeker anymore. You are a speaker. You are a governor. You are one who walks by law. And now that you've spoken, watch what unfolds. Not by chance, not by effort, but by the unbreakable law that what you speak in faith must appear in form. It is done, and so it is. Your wealth is not stuck. Your mouth is. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are simply out of rhythm with divine law. Every dollar that has ever come into your life, and every dollar that has stayed away, answered to one thing: your word. Not your desire, not your effort, not your hustle, your word. Spoken in rhythm, spoken in faith, spoken in alignment with the unseen law that governs all substance. I do not speak to you today as a philosopher. I speak to you as one who has watched men and women rise from poverty to power, not through strategy, but through spoken law. Their money changed when their mouth changed. Their conditions obeyed their tongue. You were never taught this because the world does not want you to know. It wants you begging, reacting, reasoning, grinding. But spiritual law wants you declaring. Divine law wants you commanding. And when you speak in rhythm with the higher law, wealth becomes your servant, not your master. So I ask you, are you ready to stop rehearsing your condition and start speaking your supply? Are you ready to burn the lie that says money is random and ignite the truth that says money is obedient? Because your mouth is not decoration. It is the divine switchboard of manifestation. It is the instrument through which the unseen becomes visible. And the moment you speak as one aligned with spirit, lack must leave. Now we begin. Let me teach you what was hidden. Let me train your voice to become wealth's command. Let me show you the 9 spoken laws that change everything. In the beginning was the Word, not effort, not strategy, not human wisdom, the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is not poetry. It is blueprint. It is revelation. It is divine instruction. If the universe itself was spoken into being, how can you doubt that your financial reality responds to the same law? You are not separate from the source. You were created in the image of the Creator, and to be made in that image is to possess the power to speak form into existence. You have spoken your world into its current condition, and the great tragedy is not that your voice is weak, but that it has been undirected. You have declared struggle while hoping for overflow. You have cursed your bank account while praying for increase. You have repeated phrases like, "It's never enough," and "I don't know how I'll make it," and you wonder why divine substance has stayed locked behind the veil. But spiritual law does not negotiate. It fulfills what you speak. It multiplies what you repeat. It delivers not what you want, but what you say with conviction. Every law of wealth is activated by vibration, and vibration is released through the spoken word. When you speak, you are not making noise. You are issuing spiritual commands. You are instructing your subconscious. You are setting creative power in motion. And that power obeys, not your effort, not your emotions, not your theology, your word. When it is spoken with rhythm, spoken with faith, spoken with authority, it becomes law. This is why I teach spoken truth, not whispered hope. This is why I instruct you to speak aloud, daily, rhythmically. Because your voice is not for communication alone, it is for creation. Until your word changes, your world cannot. You may believe the truth in your heart, but until you speak it into the ethers, the law remains dormant. Heaven moves on vibration, not silence. You were never taught this because the world prefers you silent. It prefers you stuck in thought, bound by confusion, reacting instead of commanding. But you are not here to be a beggar at the gate of wealth. You are here to be a commander of spiritual substance, and your command begins with word. So now I will teach you what they hid from you. I will show you how to speak with power, with rhythm, with faith. I will give you the 9 laws that govern wealth through voice, not to impress you, to free you. Because when your tongue becomes obedient, your life becomes miraculous. Your tongue is not flesh, it is fire. It is the gateway through which divine law enters matter. It is the sword that cuts through the appearance of lack. And if you do not train it, it will betray you. It will echo what you fear instead of what you believe. It will rehearse what you see instead of declare what must be. That is why the spoken word must be disciplined. You do not get wealthy by thinking positive. You get wealthy by speaking with rhythm, with authority, with full agreement between your spirit and your speech. Most people speak like beggars. They hope with their lips and doubt with their breath. They sprinkle in affirmations and sabotage them with complaints. They declare abundance and then say things like, "Money's just not coming in," or "I never catch a break." That is not spiritual power. That is vibrational confusion. And law does not reward confusion. It fulfills clarity. It obeys consistency. It multiplies what is spoken with rhythm. So I teach you now. Stop describing your life. Declare it. Stop waiting for conditions to change before you change your language. Change your language, and conditions will obey. Begin each day with truth, not as hope, but as law. Say, "My words are divine substance. I do not speak opinion. I speak wealth." Speak to your bank account. Speak to your bills. Speak to the email inbox. Speak to the wallet in your hand. Do not report what you see. Command what must appear. This is not pretending, this is training. You are not speaking to feel better, you are speaking to form reality. And that formation happens through rhythm, through spoken substitution. Every time you catch a fear-based thought, substitute it with declaration. Every time your mouth opens to complain, interrupt it with truth. You say, I am the vessel of divine supply. All that is mine by spiritual right appears now. You say, because I speak in rhythm, I receive in rhythm. You say, my words are wealth in seed form. You are not allowed to rehearse fear anymore. You are not allowed to joke about being broke. You are not allowed to echo old programming and then cry out for new provision. Your voice must become a sanctuary, a temple, a frequency chamber where only truth is allowed to echo. And that truth, when spoken enough, becomes belief. And that belief, when fused with rhythm, becomes form. Start with a journal. Write the declarations that most disturb your old identity. Read them aloud every morning. Speak them again at noon. Seal them again at night. This is not superstition. This is spiritual architecture. You are not trying to get rich. You are becoming the person who cannot avoid it. Because once your mouth belongs to law, wealth cannot disobey you. There is a science to speech, a rhythm to spoken creation. And once you learn it, not just mentally but viscerally, your world begins to obey your mouth instead of your mood. These first 3 laws are the foundation. They are the pillars upon which all spoken wealth rests. Do not skip them. Do not rush them. They are not ideas. They are frequencies. And when obeyed, they bend the substance of the unseen into visible form. Law 1. The law of creative declaration. The first law is simple, absolute, and divine. I speak wealth, and wealth obeys. This is not poetic, it is vibrational law. Your words create molds. Into those molds, substance must pour. You do not wait to see change before you declare it. You speak it, knowing that divine law never returns void. You say, money flows to me richly and endlessly. You say, the channels of supply are wide open. You say, I speak wealth into form now, not later. You declare, not as one asking permission, but as one carrying dominion. This law shatters passive affirmations. It removes the timid hopefulness of soft spirituality. This is not manifestation through emotion. This is manifestation through divine command. And when your voice aligns with truth, nothing can resist the form it demands. Law 2. The law of repetition. What you repeat, you resurrect. Most people repeat failure unconsciously. They repeat lack as humor, worry, habit. They do not realize their repetition is a resurrection. But now you will reverse it. You will choose what to repeat. You will choose what to resurrect. You will speak wealth so consistently, so rhythmically, so boldly, that the entire structure of your subconscious begins to bend toward increase. Do not worry if it feels foreign at first. That is a good sign. It means you are rewiring your internal rhythm. The first time you say, I am richly supplied, your body may flinch. Say it again and again, until the old rhythm breaks, until the inner contradiction shatters, until your voice becomes your native language of wealth. Repetition is not foolishness. It is spiritual programming. It is how law rewrites the script of your reality. Law 3. The law of substitution. Every time a fear-based thought tries to escape your lips, stop it, replace it, speak a greater truth. That is the law of substitution. You cannot hold 2 vibrations at once, so when one arises, you choose the dominant one. When lack says, this won't work, you say, it is already working. When fear says, what if I fail? You answer, divine success is inevitable for me. When doubt says, be realistic, you declare, I serve spiritual law, not appearances. You are no longer a slave to reactive speech. You are now a master of substitution. You replace reaction with rhythm. You replace fear with fire. You replace confusion with command. These 3 laws, Creative declaration, repetition, and substitution form the root system of all spoken wealth. Practice them daily, speak them aloud, drill them into the soil of your spirit, because once these are installed, your voice becomes law. And once your voice becomes law, your life becomes evidence. If the first 3 laws build your foundation, the next 3 laws purify your alignment. These are the laws that close the gap between what you say and what you actually live. Because many speak wealth but leak fear. Many affirm abundance but contradict it with tone, with jokes, with sighs, with casual self-sabotage. But spiritual law is exact. It multiplies signal, not intention. If your signal is fractured, your harvest is scattered. These 3 laws bring your vibration into agreement so that when you speak, your whole being becomes the command. Law 4, the law of non-contradiction. You cannot bless and curse with the same tongue. You cannot affirm abundance in the morning and gossip about bills in the afternoon. You cannot speak prosperity and joke about being broke. The universe does not read your sincerity. It reads your rhythm. It reads what you say most consistently, not what you mean to say. This law demands purity of speech. It demands consistency of vibration. It demands that your tongue no longer play both sides. Say this now. I do not contradict myself. My word is pure. My word is law. Every time you're tempted to contradict truth, pause. Speak a higher word. Speak the greater law. You are no longer rehearsing both faith and fear. You are choosing a side, and because you choose truth, your reality will reflect only truth. Law 5, the law of divine naming. You must learn to name things rightly. What you name, you claim. What you label, you lock in. Most people name their situation based on fear. They call it bad luck, a disaster, never-ending struggle. And spiritual law says, so be it. But you must name your world according to truth. You do not call it debt. You call it temporary appearance, now dissolving. You do not call it recession. You call it divine reallocation of wealth into my hands. You name what you desire, not what you fear. Remember how God brought form to chaos by naming. Let there be light. Let the waters be gathered. He did not describe. He did not explain. He named. And what was named appeared. This law is yours to walk in. Speak it. I name what must appear. I name supply into visibility. I name myself wealthy, and so I become. Law 6, the law of embodied tone. Your words are not just sentences. They are containers of frequency, and the tone with which you speak determines their power. If you affirm with uncertainty, you inject the declaration with doubt. If you speak from weariness, the vibration is weakened. But when you speak from embodiment, when your tone reflects ownership, the law responds immediately. This is why some people affirm daily and see no results. Their tone betrays their inner state. They are reciting, not commanding. But you must speak as one already supplied. You must speak wealth like it is oxygen. You must declare with the voice of the already answered. Say, my tone carries the wealth I command. I speak as one who already has. I do not ask, I declare. When you live by these 3 laws, non-contradiction, divine naming, embodied tone, you no longer send mixed signals into the field. You become a clear vessel, a sonic channel, a vibrational authority. And your voice becomes magnetic. It attracts without strain. It draws without chasing. Because now, you no longer speak from effort. You speak from alignment. Now that your foundation is set and your alignment is purified, we move to the laws of manifestation and multiplication. These final 3 laws are not passive truths. They are spiritual weapons. They move money. They dissolve barriers. They open gates. And they do not wait for perfect conditions. They wait for bold obedience. These are the laws of divine speech that call things forth, bless your seed, and ensure that every word you release returns to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Law 7. The law of prophetic speech. You are not here to speak what is. You are here to speak what must be. Prophetic speech is not prediction. It is not forecasting. It is authoritative command over the unseen. You do not speak based on your emotions. You speak based on divine law. You speak to create, not to react. When the bills come, you say, "This is already paid by invisible substance now made visible." When the client cancels, you say, "Something better is already being arranged by divine mind." You do not echo facts. You release truth. Prophetic speech bends time. It collapses waiting. It announces supply as if it were already walking through your door. Say, "I speak the future I command. I call forth what belongs to me now." My word is prophetic. It does not return void. Law 8. The law of sealed giving. Giving without word is a missed opportunity. It is like planting a seed without water. But when you speak over every gift, every tithe, every act of generosity, you activate multiplication. This is the law of sealed giving. You do not drop a dollar in silence. You do not transfer money without rhythm. You say, "This seed is blessed." It returns multiplied. It opens divine doors no man can shut. This is not superstition. It is spiritual math. Every gift, when sealed with word, becomes a divine transaction, and law does not ignore a spoken tithe. It records it, it honors it, it increases it. Even when you give small, give boldly. Say, "Even my smallest seed carries infinite power because I speak over it." Law 9, the law of return. Every word you release is a boomerang. It leaves your lips and returns with form. You speak peace, it returns as clarity. You speak wealth, it returns as opportunity. You speak multiplication, and law rushes to obey. The law of return is absolute. It does not choose sides. It does not hesitate. It fulfills your frequency. If you speak in doubt, it returns delay. If you speak in certainty, it returns acceleration. Say, "What I speak returns to me multiplied, pressed down, and overflowing." My words are the seeds of my wealth. The return is guaranteed because the law is sealed. When you live by these final laws, prophetic speech, sealed giving, and return, you become a spiritual architect. You build wealth with your voice. You assign every word a mission. You declare the end from the beginning. And the law, being faithful, answers. Because now your speech is not casual. It is covenant. It is not suggestion. It is spiritual instruction sent into the field to return with your good. And it must return. Now that you know the 9 laws, you must become the vessel that carries them. Because knowledge without embodiment is delay, and the only thing that ever blocks your supply is your unreprogrammed mind, not people, not the market, not chance, but the silent program running beneath your declarations, the beliefs that whisper contradiction while your lips try to speak truth. But the subconscious mind is not your enemy. It is your amplifier. It simply repeats what it hears with rhythm and emotion, and it cannot tell the difference between what is imagined and what is real. It only records and repeats. It only installs what is consistently spoken and consistently felt. So now you must begin the reprogramming. You must speak these 9 laws, not once, but rhythmically. Speak them morning, midday, and night. Speak them when you're inspired. Speak them when you're tired. Speak them until your old vibration crumbles under the weight of your new voice. You do not need to feel it for it to work. You simply need to repeat it until the old self is overwritten by the new rhythm. Here is your practice. Morning. Rise and speak the first 3 laws aloud. Creative declaration, repetition, substitution. Set the tone before the world has a chance to interrupt you. Say, "I speak wealth and wealth obeys." Say, "My tongue creates divine conditions." Midday. Align with the laws of speech. Clean up your contradictions. Re-speak your truth. Refuse to gossip lack. If you catch yourself reacting, stop and substitute immediately. Say, "I name only what I desire." Say, My tone carries my wealth. Evening, seal the day with the final 3 laws. Speak over your giving, speak into your future, expect your return. Let the subconscious drift into rest under the sound of your own prophetic command. Say, "This seed is blessed and multiplied." Say, "Every word I speak returns to me fulfilled." The law does not require you to shout, but it does require you to believe, and belief is not a feeling. It is a frequency of word repeated until the subconscious yields. The old stories will resist, the patterns will push back, but you do not bow, you do not explain, you do not process. You speak again, you repeat again, you substitute again, until the program shifts, until your inner dialogue changes, until you no longer affirm truth, you become it. When you do this consistently, your outer life cannot resist. Conditions begin to change, supply begins to flow, opportunities appear without strain. Why? Because you are no longer a divided signal. You are a unified rhythm of divine law. This is not a trick, this is not a hack, this is spiritual reprogramming through rhythmic speech, and once it is installed, it becomes your atmosphere. Because now, wealth does not just visit you, it lives in your voice. You have heard the laws, you have felt the vibration, you have seen the structure behind your spoken word. But knowledge without command is still delay. Revelation without ritual is still unused power. And so now I give you this challenge, not as punishment, but as preparation. If you are ready to walk as the commander of wealth, then you must speak as one. You must live as one. You must act as one. Because wealth is not waiting on your worthiness, it is waiting on your command. Here is your challenge. Choose any 3 of the 9 laws, the ones that struck your soul, the ones that convicted your tongue, the ones that whispered, "This is what you've forgotten." Then, for 7 days, speak those 3 laws aloud 7 times a day. Not to impress God, not to manipulate money, but to build vibrational momentum so exact, so undeniable, that reality itself must rearrange in your favor. Create a decree. Write it by hand. Post it where your eyes can't avoid it. Read it aloud at sunrise. Speak it in the middle of the chaos. Declare it over your wallet, your phone, your schedule, your bank accounts. Let your voice baptize everything you touch in the vibration of truth. Let your sound become a sword that cuts through the illusion of delay. And when resistance comes, and it will, do not fold. Do not ask for confirmation. Do not check the numbers. Do not inspect the fruit before the root has formed. Just speak again. Rhythm is the secret. Rhythm is the law. Rhythm is the portal through which substance takes shape. Say this now with me. I do not describe my life, I declare it. I do not wait for wealth, I call it forth. I am not hoping for breakthrough, I am commanding substance. Stop trying to be ready, be rhythmic. Stop trying to feel powerful, be obedient. The vibration doesn't need your mood, it needs your mouth. This is not theory. This is not motivation. This is not a pep talk wrapped in scripture. This is spiritual law, and it is waiting to be obeyed. You've asked, when will it come? The answer is, when you speak and do not stop speaking. When you declare and do not retreat. When you plant the same word over and over until the harvest is inevitable. The angels are listening, the field is open, the substance is moving, but it's not your desire that activates it, it's your voice. So rise now, choose your 3 laws, speak them daily, seal your giving, subtract your contradiction, embody your tone, and return to the rhythm again and again until the spoken word becomes the spoken wealth. You are no longer available for scarcity. You are no longer rehearsing limitation. You are no longer waiting for the world to agree, because you have decided, and once you decide in law, creation obeys. Now let us engrave it. Let us seal the vibration with rhythm. Let us program your field with fire. These are not affirmations to soothe the ego. These are declarations to restructure the invisible. This is your sword. This is your rhythm. This is your spiritual economy rewritten by the power of your voice. Say aloud with power, "My voice creates wealth. I do not wonder. I do not wish. I declare, and it is done. Every word I speak is a seed of increase. I sow in rhythm. I reap in rhythm. There is no delay in law. I do not echo lack. I command supply. My tongue is no longer available for fear. It speaks only what aligns with truth. I tithe with word. I give with command. I receive with authority. Every seed is sealed in speech. Every return is guaranteed by law. My tone carries the frequency of wealth. I speak as one already supplied. I declare as one already filled. Because I obey the laws of spoken wealth, money cannot ignore me. Not sometimes, not maybe, never again. I speak and law responds. I declare and doors open. Again, say it. Because I obey the laws of spoken wealth, money cannot ignore me. Feel that. Let it register in your bones. Let it replace the old language of lack. Let it rise through your blood like a new covenant. Speak it when you wake. Speak it when you forget. Speak it when doubt knocks. Speak it until your frequency becomes undeniable. You are not repeating to convince yourself. You are repeating to program creation. The field responds to rhythm, and rhythm is the final form of faith. Now, seal it. Let your final decree echo through the atmosphere. I am the voice of wealth, and I cannot be silenced. If this message ignited something in your soul, if it called out the part of you that always knew wealth was spiritual, always felt your words carried fire, always sensed that lack was a lie, then do not leave this moment untouched. Don't let it pass like another teaching. Let it mark you. Let it shape you. Let it become your new covenant with divine law. Comment below the one law that pierced your old rhythm the most, the one you were never taught, but now will never forget. Was it the law of creative declaration? Was it the law of embodied tone? Or the law of sealed giving? Write it, speak it, own it, not for me, for you, for your field, for the invisible realm that is waiting to respond to your command. And if this voice of truth felt like home, subscribe, not to follow me, but to follow rhythm. Because every video here is not entertainment, it is recalibration. It is spiritual alignment. It is your daily return to the truth that you are not a seeker. You are a speaker. You are not a beggar. You are a builder. You are not waiting for provision. You are commanding it through divine law. Come back tomorrow. Watch again. Speak again. Choose a law and walk in it. And remember, rhythm is not just a tool. It is the vibration that reorders everything. When you obey spoken law, spoken wealth obeys you. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not broken. You are the voice. You are the rhythm. You are the gate. And because you obey law, money cannot ignore you, and so it is. You have chased money long enough. You have struggled, worried, strained, and feared, living life like a desperate beggar rather than a divine heir. But today, your struggle ends. Today, you will learn one powerful sentence, a sacred decree, that has the divine power to shift your entire financial vibration and allow money to find you effortlessly. You see, money is not meant to be chased. Money is meant to respond to your spoken word, your clear command, your spiritual alignment. Your word is law, and the universe listens closely, waiting for the exact moment when your tongue issues a clear and uncompromising decree. Money, in its truest sense, is simply energy. It is obedient spiritual substance that moves at your command. Up until now, you may have unknowingly issued commands of scarcity, limitation, or delay, wondering why abundance avoids you. Today, that misunderstanding is permanently corrected. Today, you will learn the one sentence that instructs the infinite source, the divine intelligence of the universe, to open every hidden doorway of abundance. Today, you shift your financial destiny. Money will no longer evade you. It will seek you out, find you, follow you, and flow to you effortlessly and ceaselessly. You will no longer live in financial anxiety. You will live in divine certainty. Because when you learn to speak correctly, you will understand clearly and completely that wealth is not accidental. It is vibrational. Wealth is not hard-won. It is spiritually commanded. And today, your tongue becomes the divine instrument that releases your inheritance. Prepare your spirit. Quiet your doubt. You have arrived at the turning point, and from this moment forward, your financial life will never be the same again. The universe is not ruled by luck. It is ruled by law, precise, immutable, divine law. And among the highest of these is the law of the spoken word. From the beginning, God created with sound. Let there be light, and there was light. The word was not a suggestion, it was not a hope, it was a command, and that same divine authority has been gifted to you. Your voice is not decoration, it is a creative force. Every word you speak carries vibration, and every vibration issues instruction to the substance of the universe. When you speak from fear, that fear becomes form. When you speak from truth, truth becomes substance. So when I say to you that a single sentence can bring money to you, I speak not from fantasy, but from eternal law. The scripture declares, "Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." It does not say you must understand it or earn it or deserve it. It says you must decree it. Decree means to issue a spiritual verdict, a final word. It is spoken from authority, not from begging. And most people, when it comes to money, speak like beggars. They ask, plead, worry, and wonder, but they do not declare. They say, "I hope I can afford it," or "I'm always broke," or "money just doesn't come easily to me." And so law, being perfectly obedient, fulfills those exact statements. You see, the spoken word is not metaphorical. It is mechanical. It sets law into motion. It places the gears of supply into movement. It opens or closes the gates of provision. Money does not move based on emotion or struggle. It moves according to vibrational instruction. And the clearest way to issue that instruction is through bold, rhythmic, spiritual speech. There is no neutrality in speech. Every word is a cause. Every sentence is a seed. And most are sowing seeds of poverty with their daily dialogue. "This is too expensive," they say. "I never have enough," they sigh. And then they wonder why money hides. But the one who understands law knows that money is not scarce. It is not cruel. It is not hiding. It is simply waiting for a clear command from a spiritually aligned voice. Let this truth pierce your soul. Money is not attracted by effort. It is attracted by authority. And that authority is expressed not through stress, but through speech. When you begin to speak as one who commands spiritual law, everything in your life begins to shift. Resources appear, opportunities open, doors that were locked swing wide, and not because you hustled, but because you spoke. Do not underestimate the power of a single, well-spoken sentence. One sentence, spoken in spiritual alignment, with rhythmic repetition, with unwavering belief, can undo a lifetime of financial limitation. It can uproot generations of lack thinking. It can rewire the subconscious mind and instruct divine intelligence to send money swiftly, generously, and without resistance. This is not positive thinking. This is not wishing. This is law. The same law that governs the tides, the planets, the seasons. And it does not fail. It does not sleep. It does not argue. It simply fulfills your command. Whether that command is rooted in fear or truth is up to you. So now, I will give you the exact sentence to speak. A sentence forged in divine fire. A sentence that, when spoken faithfully and lawfully, must bring money to your side. Let me now instruct you, not as the world teaches, but as truth teaches. The world says you must work harder, try more, figure it out, stay up late, and fight your way forward. But the truth says, speak the word only, and thy servant shall be healed. The truth says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. The truth says, your word is your wand. So what are you doing with that wand? Are you speaking as a creator or as a casualty? Are you declaring your wealth or complaining your lack? You cannot speak two languages and expect clarity from the universe. You cannot declare abundance in the morning and complain about money in the afternoon and expect divine supply to obey. For law is clear. It responds to your dominant vibration, and your dominant vibration is established by repetition, rhythm, and feeling. You must choose today to become disciplined in speech, not casual, not soft, not reactive, but deliberate, bold, spiritual, rhythmic. Because your life reflects your language. If your bank account is in disorder, check your vocabulary. If your debts multiply, check your declarations. If your needs always outweigh your income, look not to the economy, look to your tongue. For the mouth is the gate through which divine supply either flows or is blocked. When you speak from fear, you activate the law of substitution, but in reverse. You substitute truth for illusion. You say, I can't afford this, and the law says, as you wish. You say, it's always something, and the law answers, let it be done unto you. You say, money never stays with me, and so it flees. The law is not punishing you, it is serving you, but it cannot serve what you refuse to declare. So I instruct you now, from this day forward, you will not allow your tongue to utter a single phrase of lack. You will not repeat the world's vocabulary of limitation. You will speak only what you wish to multiply. You will declare only what you desire to demonstrate. For your word is the mold, and divine substance is the material that fills it. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you touch your work, you will speak. Every evening, before you lay your head down, you will speak. You will speak clearly. You will speak as one who is already provided for. You will speak not as a beggar, but as a builder, not as a seeker, but as a speaker. For the mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, and today your mouth becomes a fountain of wealth. Do not wait until you feel rich to speak as the rich. Speak it first. Feelings will follow your frequency. Conditions will obey your confession. This is the divine order of creation. The word goes first. The spoken declaration creates the unseen form. Then and only then does it become visible. And when you speak, speak with feeling. Speak with rhythm. Speak with the absolute conviction that what you decree is already established in the invisible. Do not wonder if it's working. Know that it must, because law never fails. So now I ask you, are you ready to speak like a master? Are you ready to issue financial instructions to the universe, not from fear, but from divine authority? Are you ready to stop seeking and start declaring? Then prepare your spirit, because now I will give you the exact sentence, a spiritual decree tested by time, proven by law, and fulfilled by heaven. This sentence does not ask for money. It commands it. It does not beg for supply. It releases it. And when you speak it rhythmically, daily, faithfully, and lawfully, money must find you. The sentence is this: Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance. This is not a poetic phrase. It is a spiritual command. It is a living key forged in divine truth. When spoken faithfully, it moves mountains, dissolves delays, and releases divine provision through channels the rational mind could never predict. You are not speaking to a person. You are not pleading with an institution. You are issuing instruction to Infinite Spirit, your source, your supply, the divine presence that orchestrates all visible manifestation. Let us break this sacred sentence apart word by word, so your soul may grasp its depth and your spirit may speak it with unwavering authority. Infinite Spirit. You begin by addressing the source, not the job, not the bank, not the market. You bypass all limited channels and speak directly to the infinite. For money is not generated by man, it is distributed through man, but it flows from God. When you say, Infinite Spirit, you are declaring that your trust is not in economy but in eternity. You recognize that divine intelligence is the origin of all wealth. You return your gaze to the storehouse of heaven, not the shelves of men. Open the way. This is a command, not a suggestion. You are instructing divine law to remove all subconscious interference, dissolve every unseen block, and reveal the open door through which your supply flows. This is the law of non-resistance in action. You are not forcing outcomes. You are removing friction. You are not pushing. You are parting. And Spirit, being perfect intelligence, knows exactly what channels must open. It may be a phone call, a canceled debt, a job offer, a creative idea, but it will be the perfect way, the peaceful way, the surprising way. You do not decide how. You command that the way be opened. For my immediate supply, you do not ask for one day. You do not beg for someday. You speak of now. You speak of immediacy. Divine delay is never divine denial, but many have spoken vaguely, hoping for eventual provision. No more. You speak of your immediate supply because you know that in spirit there is no time. There is only divine order. What is yours exists already in the invisible. The only delay is in your command. But now, having spoken lawfully, you claim your supply in this moment, not rushed, not desperate, but right on divine schedule, which is now. This portion of the sentence sets into motion the spiritual machinery that bypasses limitation, breaks through resistance, and floods your field with provision. It is the law of substitution replacing fear with clarity. It is the law of expectancy magnetizing invisible supply into visible form. As you speak these words, know that you are not merely repeating a spiritual formula. You are issuing a divine directive. You are commanding the heavens to move, the channels to open, and the wealth already assigned to your name to arrive without delay. You do not merely say this sentence, you declare it. You do not recite it from memory. You speak it from power. You speak it as one who knows, one who no longer wonders, one who no longer doubts, one who has ceased from striving and begun commanding. And now we move to the second half of this sacred decree, the words that seal the instruction and summon the avalanche. We now arrive at the final movement of your spoken decree. The words that complete the command amplify the current and signal heaven's treasury to pour forth in great and unmistakable measure. The sentence concludes, "Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance." Let all that is mine by divine right. These are not the possessions of pride, nor the riches of ego. These are not stolen treasures or hurried gains. These are the things that belong to you by spiritual law, already assigned, already prepared, already complete in the invisible. This phrase affirms that you do not steal what is not yours, nor fear that your good belongs to another. You are not in competition. You are in alignment. When you say, by divine right, you are aligning with the highest good for all. You are invoking the law of right outcomes, blessings that bless everyone involved. There is no guilt in this supply, no confusion, no compromise, only perfect provision in perfect ways. Now reach me. This is the call of magnetic reception. You are not sending your good into the distance. You are pulling it into the now. You are issuing a retrieval command. These words dissolve all imaginary barriers, time, fear, distance, disbelief. They remove the waiting room. They cancel delay. You speak not from lack trying to attract. You speak from law summoning what is already yours. There is no begging in this voice. There is no uncertainty, only confident retrieval. In great avalanches of abundance. This final phrase is sacred power. This is the vibrational crescendo. You are not speaking of pennies or trickles. You are commanding avalanches, not drops, but downpours, not portions, but floods, not limited help, but total overflow. This is the law of increase in motion. You do not limit the universe to small answers. You allow yourself to receive on the level of divine surplus. The avalanche metaphor is no accident. Avalanches are massive, sudden, unstoppable. And that is how your good will appear when you speak this sentence with rhythm and conviction. Not by small, predictable channels, but by surprising, immense, undeniable force. You may wake to news that erases your debt. You may be offered a role you never expected. You may receive a refund, a return, a reward, a release. You cannot calculate the channel, but you must trust the law. Speak this sentence daily, morning and night. Speak it when fear rises. Speak it when doubt tries to whisper. Speak it when lack appears to threaten. For this sentence is your spiritual sword. It cuts through appearances and commands divine reality to appear. Speak it aloud with rhythm, with breath, with finality. Do not mumble. Do not apologize. You are not a pauper. You are a divine commander. And let me say this clearly. It is not the sentence alone that brings the supply. It is the spirit behind the sentence, the vibration of certainty, the inner agreement, the sacred authority of your spoken command. When you speak as one with God, when you issue this sentence as divine decree, when you repeat it faithfully and lawfully, then yes, money must find you. Not because you're lucky, but because you've spoken law. Let no one distract you from this truth. Let no thought dilute your authority. You do not need to manipulate. You do not need to beg. You do not need to force. You need only to speak. Speak faithfully. Speak rhythmically. Speak boldly. And watch what must appear. This is the sentence. This is the key. This is the turning point. Now let us seal this truth deeper by reprogramming your mind to accept this sentence as your new financial reality. You have now spoken the sentence. You have heard its meaning. But until your subconscious mind accepts it as truth, your outer life will continue to reflect old patterns. You see, the subconscious is the deep garden of the soul. It does not respond to logic. It responds to repetition, to emotion, and to imagery. It does not argue with you. It does not question your beliefs. It simply accepts what you allow it to hear often enough. This is why you must now take your spoken sentence and sow it deliberately into the fertile ground of your subconscious mind, day by day, night by night. Do not speak it once and wonder. Do not whisper it timidly and hope. You must command it rhythmically until it becomes a living vibration in your being. Your subconscious mind has, until now, accepted phrases like, "I can't afford it," "money is tight," or "there's never enough," and so your outer world has obeyed. But now you replace those weeds with divine seed. You repeat the sentence, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply," until your subconscious accepts it not as novelty, but as law. Not as a wish, but as a command. Do this first thing upon waking. Do this last thing before sleep. For in those moments, the subconscious is wide open. Speak the sentence slowly, with feeling, as though you are writing it with fire across the surface of your soul. Imagine money already finding you, unexpected payments, surprising breakthroughs, joyful overflow. See it, speak it, feel it, and know it. You must create a rhythm. Morning and evening. Not 5 times today and never again. not when you feel like it, but with the discipline of a spiritual warrior. Reprogramming is not mystical, it is mechanical. If you give the subconscious a new command enough times, it must obey. Do not worry if you don't feel different at first. Speak anyway. Do not stop when the outer world still looks unchanged. Speak anyway. You are speaking through appearances, not to them. You are issuing a command that bypasses circumstance and rewrites the invisible blueprint that creates visible results. You may begin to feel strange when speaking it. Good.